Hey YouTube, welcome to RV Daydream. If you just stumbled onto this channel, we ask that you subscribe. If you haven't, if you like this video and you want to see more like this, or you haven't had a chance to check out our playlist, please feel free to do so. We'd love to have you on board with us. Today we're going to be talking about towing and tow capacities, and I'm going to be very vague about it because this information is available on so many levels on YouTube, but I want to give you basically the numbers that you need to be looking for. So let's talk some specifics, but mainly where to find all these numbers that you need to have in your pocket when you sit down at a table and start researching and adding things up.
What have you been up to?
I've been riding on a daydream.
So it's starting to get a little cooler here, but come on, it's February in Ohio and we're 50-degree weather, so we're out here among a little bit of wind. You're going to hear some wind noise, and of course the traffic that's going by. It's always like that. So if you decide to subscribe to our channel, you're going to hear this. This traffic happens all the time. What we have behind us is our newer RV. It's a 2020 Rockwood 2604WS. This is a 30-foot RV. That's going to come into play as far as your decision making potentially on what you want to run into and what you're going to tow. And what you're sitting on currently, what you may have seen at the beginning there, is our 2019 F250. It's a Super Duty. It is a gas engine. It's a 3/4 ton, and it's a 4x4. And it does have some extra packages on it. It has a camper package. It's actually rated for a slide-in camper. And it has a snowplow package on it, which basically gives you heavier front springs, a bigger alternator. But also for the camper package, I get a rear sway bar. And all those things add up, to help out with towing and hauling, stiffening it up. This is a 10,000 GVW package truck. But even without that snow plow package or this extra camper package in the back, it still could be a 10,000 GVW package. These things that I'm talking about adds to the stability of the way that it tows, and you'll find out that that stability part will come up more and more whenever we're talking about lesser trucks as far as the next size down, like an F-150 or whatever half-ton that might be out there. So let's talk about the trailer, because I want to get the weights off of that first. And you would think that I'm going to run right up to that tag that's up there and tell you what is on the tag, but I'm not. I'm going to go show you something else. Yeah, I'm going to show you the tires. These are D-rated tires, and the thing that you need to find on this is that there's a max load capacity on here that says 2,540 pounds if you have this filled at 65 pounds of pressure. You can't haul 2,540 pounds in this trailer on all these tires. Basically, that's what this one tire can handle at maximum capacity. You're going to find that you may not want to run your tire pressure at maximum capacity, especially like in my case, because this trailer don't spec out to that kind of weight. 2,540 pounds. A lot of people see that rating and they on the tire and think, well, that's what I can haul. And since I have two tires, that means just this axle can handle 5,080 pounds. And that means this axle can handle 5,080 pounds. And that means that I could put 10,000 pounds worth of weight on these two axles. Well, no, because we have an axle rating also. Let's go look at that. Now we are over to the door sticker, or the tag on the RV, and you can see I only have 4,000 pound axles on here. So just because the tires are rated for 10,000 pounds worth of carrying capacity, all four of them, those dual axles can only handle 8,000 pounds total. Well, here's something that you probably don't know. A lot of manufacturers will put a little bit heavier weight than what the axles are rated for, and guess what? This is no exception. 8,782 pounds. It says that I can haul this trailer fully loaded will be 8,782 pounds. Hey, that's 782 pounds over what these axles are rated. Well, part of that they're considering is all that weight's not going to necessarily be on the axles. You've got some of the weight here on the tongue. So even though, yes, those axles are not rated for what this trailer could weigh fully, those axles will never see what this trailer fully loaded with its weight would see, because there's always going to be some on this tongue, and that's going to be distributed onto the truck, which we'll talk about in a little bit here. The other thing is, whenever this specific manufacturer of Rockwood, whenever their trailer's getting ready to go off the floor, whenever it's empty, what they call a dry weight meaning no batteries, no hitch system, no propane in the tanks, no water in the tanks, no cargo, nothing, just what the thing specs out to be, meaning we optioned in these awning toppers, we optioned in dual pane windows, we've optioned in a booth dinette instead of a freestanding dinette, stuff like that, like carpet, all that adds weight to this trailer. So what they want to do is, when your specific trailer is getting ready to go out the door, they have already tested it and inspected it, and the last thing they do is they weigh it, and then they put this sticker on right here. 2,950 kilograms is roughly 6,500 pounds is what this trailer weighs when it's completely dry with nothing in it. So then what do you have to do? Well, you got to figure out how much weight you can add to the trailer. Well, we already know 8,782 is what I can potentially weigh. So yeah, 2,219 pounds is what I can put in this trailer. So now you're thinking, wow, that's a ton of weight. I could put all kinds of stuff in here. And it's true, that's a lot of cargo carrying capacity. But start thinking about every little thing you add in there. What if you carry a case of water with you? What if you do like we do, and we carry a 5-gallon jug of water? All that weighs, 8 pounds basically for every gallon. So what about the hot water tank that's in there? You've got a hot water tank. As soon as you fill that hot water tank full of water, that's 48 pounds. That's a 6-gallon tank. Again, 8 pounds per gallon. Not only that, have you ever tried to fill or pick up a filled hose, a garden hose that's just in your yard, and you realize that it's much heavier when it's full of water versus when there's no water in it? Well, that's the same way with this RV. You have water lines running all throughout this RV, and once they're filled with water, that's all extra weight. What if you've got all your canned goods in there, all your clothes, all your shoes? Of course, all that's going to add to the weight. Guess what else adds to the weight? If you decide you want to travel with 15 gallons of water, guess what? That's weight. Not only that, but weight placement is going to make a play on how much more this tongue's going to weigh, and it's going to affect our truck when we start talking about it. So you got to be aware of that. You also have to be aware of everything you put in the cargo. I'm going to bring my grill, I'm bringing my lawn chairs, I'm going to bring my drone, I'm going to bring my laptop, and all that adds weight to this trailer. Guess what else adds weight? 90 pounds of batteries. There's 2 batteries in there. 60 pounds worth of propane. Of course, that's all taking away from that 2,219 pounds. So when we go RV shopping, which you guys, if you haven't seen our videos in the past, a lot of times what we do is we look at the maximum amount of weight that a trailer can weigh, because we know we're going to make sure we don't overload our trailer, but we want to know what our trailer could weigh fully loaded. So 8,782 pounds is what this thing could potentially weigh. So I start looking then at that point for a vehicle that can haul 8,782 pounds, and think, hey, I'm going to be picking a vehicle that's a little bit overkill for this, so I have a safety margin. Now let's get to the truck. Now the first thing that you think I would go to again is that door tag. No, I'm going to go to the tires again. One of the things that people don't understand is just because the tire says it can do it, don't mean you can do it with what you're hauling. And in this case, this thing says that we can do 3,640 pounds on this one tire. That means both these tires should be able to handle 6,800 pounds when they're at maximum pressure, and that's 80 pounds of pressure. Well, guess what? The door don't say that. And this is the most important, what the manufacturer says. Manufacturer says that the rear axle, and that's what this is, rear gross axle weight rating, cannot weigh more than 6,340 pounds. Not only that, but they say you can't fill the tires more than 65 psi. So who's right? Should I be doing 80 pounds or should I be doing 65? Well, I'm telling you, if that tire blows up, you're going to be going to Ford and saying, why did that tire blow up on me when I was going down the road? And they're going to say, well, you overloaded it. I'm not going to get into the controversy of what tire pressures you should run, but I'm going to tell you should run whatever tire pressure you feel comfortable with, and you need to research it. 65 PSI, I will never go over that on this truck. As a matter of fact, if I'm not overly loaded, if I'm not really heavy loaded in the back of this truck, I will run actually less than that and check the footprint of the tire to make sure that everything's okay. Make sure that it's wearing good, because I want a nice, comfortable ride. But I also have to be aware that the less amount of air that I have in the back of the tire, or in the tires in general, even on the front, which we'll talk about the fronts here in a second, the warmer they're going to run. When you're on the highway, especially down south, and you're in the heat, the tires use the air that's inside of them to keep them cool. Of course, there's other things going on there as far as tread design and stuff like that, but if you have a low tire and you hardly have any air in there, that little bit of air is going to get real hot real fast, and it's going to cause a tire explosion. So let's talk about the front axle. The front axle, front gross axle weight rating, this is something else you need to know, is 2,540 kilograms or 5,600 pounds. Again, we just found out those rear tires are the same that's on the front, and they say you can haul all kinds of weight. Well, no, you can't. You have to follow what the manufacturer says, and they say only run 60 pounds of pressure on the front tires. And that's for steering ability and directional ability and braking ability. Your front tires, even though this has disc brakes all the way around, the front tires do 70 to 80% of the braking. So you definitely need to have a tire that's on front that's not overinflated like a balloon and it's real hard. You want it to have a good footprint and, you know, being able to stop you really well. So the other numbers you need to look at here, what can this truck handle? Well, like I said, it's a gross vehicle weight rating of 10,000 pounds. Well, what's that mean? That means when this truck is fully loaded, when I've got everything in it that I possibly can have in it, and I'm not talking about a trailer, I'm just talking about when I'm driving down the road, the most weight I can have overall with people and gear. And I'm talking about like snow plows on the front and brush guards and, you know, whatever else you may want to add, a cap to the back, a hitch, whatever. It can't weigh more than 10,000 pounds. It just can't do it. So what does this truck weigh? Well, I know that whenever this truck has a full tank of gas, Ford does the studying for you basically and tells you on this sticker another thing that you need to know, and that's your cargo capacity, 3,295 pounds. So they're saying that the way this truck weighs, when they deliver it, what they call a dry weight again, that you can't put more than 3,295 pounds in this truck. I'm not talking just in the back. Remember, you can't go over that number that they just said for the rear axle. You know, we have a rear axle rating number. You have a rear axle rating number of 6,340 pounds. You can't go over 6,340 pounds in the back. Regardless of where you put your weight at, that's why you see a lot of people when they carry in heavy loads, they try to put it in the front of the bed as much as possible. But even if you put it right over the axle, there's still some weight going to the front already. It doesn't make a difference where the cargo is. Anything you put in that truck is considered cargo. You put 2 kids in the back, that's cargo. You put your dog in there, that's cargo. You put a toolkit in there, that's cargo. I put an antenna on the front, that's cargo. If I put driving lights on the front, that's cargo. If I put a big cattle guard on the front of the truck, that's cargo. All that stuff takes away from that number of 3,295 pounds. So now that as soon as I get inside the truck, I'm now down to about 2,740 pounds that I can put in the truck. As soon as my wife gets in, and I have a toolkit in there, and I have emergency equipment, maybe we have an extra blanket, which we do. We have other items in there, maps, CBs, GPSs, we have paperwork, we have extra change for toll booths if we run into that situation. I have, you know, cell boosters. All that stuff adds And now we're down to basically 2,500 pounds. So you're thinking, well, 2,500 pounds, you're still good. You know, you still got quite a bit. Well, not as much as you think. Not as much as you think. And the reason is because I have a cap for this truck. So now this cap I know weighs about 200 and maybe 15 pounds. So now we're 2,285 pounds. So let's just say we're at 2,300 pounds. Let's say I'm off by a little bit. So 2,300 pounds, again, you're thinking that's more than plenty. You know, this trailer, it can't be that crazy heavy. Well, from the factory, without what I just said, those propane tanks full, the two batteries on there, with any water in the tank, with any gear that's in the front, I know that when I add that gear and I add the batteries and I add the propane tank and I put the hitch on the back of my truck, that's right, as soon as you put that hitch in there, that takes some away from the cargo capacity. Remember, I said anything that goes on this truck. And I have a big rock shield that's also there, and that rock shield's like 50 pounds. Again, that comes away from the cargo capacity of the truck. Guess what else comes off the cargo carrying capacity of this truck? Tongue weight. As soon as I hook that trailer up with that big weight distribution system, it's a ProPride system, that takes away 1,100 pounds from that basically 2,400 pounds that I was just talking about. So now we're down to basically, let's say, with the extra gear that's involved, with the extra tools I may throw in the back for hitching and unhitching, we're down to basically about 1,200 pounds that I can still put in this truck. Again, that's with the cap on it. Now, you would have never thought that when we first started this video, I'm sure. You looked and you seen an ultralight. It's not a very big trailer. It's only 30 foot long. And you seen a 3/4 ton truck that's a 4x4. Well, there's other numbers you got to be aware of too. And guess what those are? That's what the manufacturer says this thing can haul down the road. And you can only find that in the manual. This thing is going to tell you basically what this truck can carry as a gross combined weight rating. That's another number you're going to have to find out about your vehicle. And you find out again from the owner's manual or from the owner's website. So let's go ahead and talk about this truck specifically. It's an F-250, but it's the smallest engine and the numerically lowest gear ratio that you can get with a gas engine. So it has the least amount of towing capability for an F-250, 19,500 pounds. It has 373 gears. You need to know what your gear ratio is. Look how much difference I could get away with just by having a different gear ratio. If I would have optioned in 430 gears, I now can haul 22,000 pounds gross combined weight rating. Now, what's that gross combined weight rating? Well, the gross combined weight rating is what this truck can weigh fully loaded and what it tows, in this case that trailer, is fully loaded. And I'm going to tell you that if that trailer weighed 10,000 pounds fully loaded, this truck, whenever we're loaded in the manner that we are with the cap on the back of it, with that same weight distribution system, I'm over my gross combined weight rating. I'm over that 19,000 pound mark because of just what I talked about, all those numbers. Again, I'm sure you guys thought, there's no way it's a 3/4 ton truck. You should be able to haul that easily, because I watched the commercial on TV and the commercial says that the F-250 can haul 15,000 pounds. The trailer can weigh 15,000 pounds. No, you've got a gross combined weight rating that you got to be concerned about. And I just showed you all the numbers added up, what you need to be concerned with and what you need to know to tow down the road. Now, even with that, this thing will have a rating that Ford says that you can find on their website. We're going to keep this a little bit crude, which I do a lot on this channel. So again, if you just signed on with this, I try to keep it as raw as possible. I could easily capture this screen, but this is going to get the job done just as easily and make the video a little bit quicker. One of the things you need to be aware of is, again, the fact that the RV is a big sail. You know, I'm talking about like a sailboat. It has a sail on it when you're pulling it with your RV. So you got to know about your frontal area as far as square foot that you're pulling down the road. Now, with most of these manufacturers and these RVs, you don't have a problem with that. But just be aware that is a rating that your truck manufacturer may tell you. Now look, here we go. F-150, look at the stuff they're saying there. 13,200 pounds towing capability. Well, most people would see that and say, well, shoot, this trailer only weighs 8,800 pounds fully loaded. Oh, I'm easily covered. Again, we just seen how that number can change really quick. We're going to go ahead and get down into the Super Duty. And I'm sure those numbers are going to be even more revealing as far as what Ford advertises, and everybody else for that matter too, and what it can actually do. So there's also ratings for, yep, you got it, campers, everything else. Maximum cargo weight with slide-in campers. Again, we have a camper package, so if we ever decided to do that, which I seriously doubt it, it would definitely be able to handle it. Again, this information, front aerial considerations or area considerations. Again, you've got so many square feet you got to be concerned with when you're going down the road. 75 square feet. So you can't have some kind of a big billboard of an RV back there and think you're okay. You can't decide to do something custom and make a double-decker fifth wheel and think that you can drive it down the road pulling it behind you like a sail. There's numbers that you have to be aware of. So let's go ahead and talk about what you can handle with the F-250 that we're talking about, and then we'll look how it compares to maybe the F-150 and people pulling with F-150s and see how many you can actually do that with. So you can see here that I have a super cab, I have a 4x4, so we're looking at this area right here, and I have an 8-foot box. I have 373 gears. It says that I can pull 12,500 pounds. That number seems so big until we just did all that math. And you can see where I've narrowed it down to where I only have 1,200 pounds to play with. Even though we started with 12,500 pounds, what everybody reads at the dealership. Oh, 12,500? I can handle that easily. It's an ultralight. Yeah, until again, you do all those numbers. And again, we were only down to where I had 1,200 pounds room margin of error. So this is what you need to be looking at. And here's the gross combined weight rating again, 19,500 pounds. That's the number I got real close to. That's the number that we were only about 1,200 pounds away. And it's because of everything we added. So let me zoom that in a little bit so maybe you can see it better. It's amazing how fast these numbers dwindle. And again, this is all people see whenever they are shopping, whenever they're looking at RVs or travel trailers. They just look at what they say it can do. Maximum loaded trailer weight, boom, 12,500 pounds. You know, whenever you go to the RV dealer, you say, for the most part, the RV dealer, you think you know more than they do. And some of them, you might be onto something there, but a lot of them try to be pretty forthcoming and tell you, what you can and can't get away with. And in my case, if I went and bought even a 10,000 pound trailer, once I loaded it up with everything, even though the trailer only maxed out at 10,000 pounds, I'm over. I'm definitely over. I can't do it. And this says I can do 12,500. Well, that's if I have my truck with nothing in it. And that's including the hitch weight and all that stuff. So I don't know how you can tow a trailer that's heavy whenever you start putting stuff in the back of your truck. So let's go ahead and compare that to the F-150s. Now, the good thing about the F-150s are they're really light. They start off as a light vehicle. But let's say we get basically my same combination. You want to get a super cab, you want to get a 4x4, and you want to get a long bed, which this is the long wheelbase, they should call it. Basically 164-inch wheelbase. So you can see that as far as the maximum loaded trailer weight, they're talking 10,000 pounds, 10,600, 10,600, 11,500, and that's with that magic unicorn that everybody talks about. Oh, they got the 373 gear. They have that max tow package. They have the the EcoBoost heavy duty package. I mean, there's all the numbers. If they all line up perfect, 11,500 pounds. is basically all that you can haul with that. And I just told you, whenever you get into your gross combined vehicle weight rating, in this case, with that trailer package, you've got 17,100 pounds. Again, I don't know if you can see this, but I'm over here in this area. You only have 17,100 pounds that magic unicorn can do. Now, if you get just a 3.5 with a 355 gear with the max tow package, now we're up to 18,400. Now, because this truck weighs so light, that gross combined vehicle weight rating is getting really close, again, over here, really close to what my truck is. Remember, my truck only 19,000 pounds. This is only 600 pounds less, and that's because the truck weighs so little. The truck starts off at such a low weight from the factory that once you put everything in it, you're not even close to what my truck weighs whenever it's empty. This truck hardly weighs anything when it's empty. So now let me bring that to your attention. How is it that that truck is that light? Think about it. I just told you it's a super cab and it's a long wheelbase, just like my truck. Why does it start off that light? How could they possibly make it to where the gross combined vehicle weight rating can be just 600 pounds less than what my truck can carry? Well, the reason is because my truck weighs so much to start with. My truck weighs like 7,100 pounds with the cap on it and with a full tank of gas with just me in it. How can that truck be that much? Well, it's because that truck only starts at like 5,500 pounds, something like that. How do you think that truck is that light? Well, the engine's a little lighter. Not much, though. I have a gas engine. I don't have a diesel engine. I have a gas engine. But that is a V6, so it is a little bit lighter. Guess where else it's lighter? In its tires. Guess where else it's lighter? In its brakes. Guess where else it's lighter? In its leaf springs. In its axles. In the coil springs. Everything is lighter. The frame is lighter. All of the cross braces are lighter. Everything is lighter on the chassis of that truck. Because if you look at the weight of the cab and you look at the weight of the bed, it's pretty much the same as mine. They're both aluminum and they have the same features inside. So where is all that weight saving coming from? It's coming from the chassis part of things. And guess what is the most important thing structure-wise on a truck when you're towing? The chassis. So whenever people are towing with half tons, just because the numbers allow it, you get into a whole nother realm of things. And that realm of stuff is what it feels like. And I'm going to tell you that a half-ton truck towing, even my trailer out there, feels a lot different than when I'm towing with my truck. Now, I'm going to let you be your own judge if that's a good thing or bad thing. Now, I would have to say that if you are one of these people that just go out for maybe 5 times a year, and you may only go at the absolute most, maybe a 300-mile trip, meaning 600 miles round trip, and you only do that maybe once a year, if the numbers allow it, if you add up all these numbers I just talked about, and you load correctly, and you check all your weights, and you're not over on anything, then tow whatever you feel like, if you're comfortable with it. But if you're towing a lot, if you're towing a lot of miles, what you need to determine a lot is what you feel is a lot. If you're towing 5,000 miles a year, maybe you want to start looking at upgrading. But more importantly, you've got to know your numbers. And even though I feel really comfortable with what we're towing, I wanted to make sure the numbers were good all the way across the board. And I know that once I load up in full trim, and what I mean is when we are ready to sell the house and travel full time, and we put everything that we're going to carry from this point forward when we go full time in the truck and in the RV, at that point I'm going to weigh everything. I'm going to weigh the trailer, I'm going to weigh the tongue weight, I'm going to weigh the truck, I'm going to weigh the front axle, I'm going to weigh the rear axle, and if I can, at some point, if I can get to some sort of a RV rally, I'm going to find if they have the portable scales, I'm going to weigh everything to make sure my weight distribution is doing the job that it should and putting the majority of the weight back on the front axles. And I want to make sure that my trailer is loaded side to side and front to rear axle adequate. I don't want any one tire to see too much weight or see more weight significantly higher than the other. So this video is really long. If you decide to subscribe to our channel, guess what? Lots of my videos are really long because I like to go into detail. Some of it is rehash. Some of it I might say a couple times in a row, but I want to make sure that the point gets across. You have to know all these numbers and look at all this stuff and then make a decision on how big your trailer should be, how you load your trailer, how you haul your trailer as far as what kind of weight distribution system you use, and what kind of truck you have to tow it, and what you're loading in your truck, and who you're carrying in your truck. You got to know all this stuff. All right, that's it. Hopefully this has helped you out. Again, sorry that it's so long, but that's just the way our channel is. It's always been that way. So as always, guys, we hope to see you out there. Bye.